The National Bureau of Statistics Company income tax data shows a 12% decrease in tax payments from both domestic and foreign businesses in Nigeria in Q1 2024, with the federal government's revenue dropping to about 1.13 trillion naira. The depreciation of the naira, growing expenses, and economic difficulties have affected business profitability, and we have Musa Obed, macroeconomic analyst, on the show this morning to help us understand this better. Musa, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, according to what I said earlier, the depreciation of the naira, talking about growing expenses and the economic difficulties of the country have affected business profitability. Could Nigeria have done without these issues? And are they man-made or inevitably situational?
Well, I think it's important to put it in context, your question in context, which is, like, where is Nigeria coming from? The changes that we see, right, in the macro space, so as regards the currency, etc., were necessary when you look at the condition of Nigeria, especially as regards trade deficit. And that was why, though the pain is enormous for citizens now, it was something that had to be done from an economical standpoint.
Well, Musa, currently the tax is charged at the rate of 30% for companies with more than 100 million naira in turnover and 20% for companies with a turnover ranging between 25 million and 100 million. Now, these companies feel that the tax percentage is overbearing on them and further dents the ease of doing business indices in the country. How do you see it?
Well, to answer this question, there are two things we have to note. So the current policy committee led by, Mr. Tayo Edele, are trying to understand all these questions, right, and all these problems that companies says that they have. And in September, they'll be releasing a report with, President Tinubu to show what will be the new tax regime within Nigeria. However, to directly answer your question, from the Q1 report, what we know is that the Big Four, that is the Big Four contributors to the corporate income tax, really shaped or continue to shape the payments. What do I mean? So in the first quarter, the top four CIT contributors, that is the corporate income tax contributors, contributed 0.8% more in the first quarter than in the last quarter, Q4 2023. This was, largely driven by contributions from the mining and crane sectors, the manufacturing sectors, etc. But what we see is that for these 100 million companies, 100 million naira companies, which are mostly located in these industries, right, especially for the manufacturing sector, there was a dent. And this was where we can assume that, okay, this tax increase, this 30% really affected them. Why? Because we see that comparing the third quarter of 2023 to the first quarter of 2024, there was a decline of 12.9% in the manufacturing sector. So we can see a decline in that aspect.
Okay, well, there are some specific sectors like mining, financial activities, and information and communication said to be contributing to the CIT revenue. And according to what we know, there's a possibility that VAT might still increase as some of these companies continue to suffer. Now, what are the potentials of these sectors surviving? And are there measures that can help further propel contributory growth for these particular companies in this sector?
Yes, so pending, the report by Mr. Tayo Edele in September, like certain things that can contribute to companies mitigating this kind of impacts on their own businesses, include like cost management and efficiency, local sourcing of products, right, instead of importing them from abroad, like hedging strategies to just protect themselves against the naira. Also, strategic partnerships. I think it's a time for businesses to really sit down together and ask themselves the critical questions, like how can we survive this macroeconomic condition right now, right? It's not going to be forever, but for the moment, it's necessary to find means of survival. And finally, like advocacy for policy. So as a School of Politics student, SPPG, we just learned that the need for policy in government is critical. So companies need to come together and push government to ensure that they work in their interest.
Okay. All right, Musa, we might have to revisit this particular topic some other time. Of course, it's a very robust topic that we need to look at, and definitely we'll bring you on to talk more about this. But right now, let me just say thank you, Musa Obed, macroeconomic analyst. We appreciate your contribution so far.